This review is for commentary, analysis, and entertainment purposes only. All rights to the movie belong to the original creators. This content is created by ChinemeluTV to share thoughts, lessons, and reflections. Please support the original filmmakers by watching the movie through official platforms. When poverty meets greed, who really pays the price? Let me ask you something. If someone walked into your house today and offered you 50 million naira, but in exchange for your child's body and future, what would you do? That is the terrifying question Ashes of Greed forces us to confront. And trust me, this is not just another Nollywood family drama. This film is a painful, emotional, and brutally honest story about poverty, desperation, exploitation, and the consequences of greed. If you've been looking for a movie that will make you angry, emotional, reflective, and maybe even uncomfortable, this is it. A story that starts with desperation. The movie opens in a struggling household where survival is the daily goal. The mother, burdened by years of hardship, sees life through the lens of poverty. She sacrificed everything to send her daughter, Cynthia, to school. She and her husband sold belongings, struggled, and endured humiliation just to give their child a better future. But when Cynthia graduates and remains jobless, frustration turns into bitterness. Then enters the opportunity. A wealthy woman, polished, powerful, and disturbingly calm, approaches the family with what she calls a simple offer. Cynthia should carry a child for her in exchange for 50 million naira. Just like that. No emotional preparation, no moral hesitation, just money. And that's where the fire begins. The mother, victim or villain? One of the most powerful aspects of Ashes of Greed is how it blurs moral lines. The mother is not introduced as evil. She is introduced as tired. Tired of poverty, tired of suffering, tired of seeing no results from sacrifice. When she hears 50 million naira, she doesn't see exploitation, she sees salvation. And that's what makes her character so tragic. She believes she is helping her family escape poverty. She convinces herself that money makes the world go round. She even tells her daughter that education was meant to bring money, and now the money has come. But at what cost? The film forces us to ask, does poverty excuse moral compromise? What would you have done in her shoes? Be honest with yourself. Cynthia, the silent victim. Cynthia's character represents thousands of vulnerable young women caught between family pressure and survival. She is educated, she has dreams, she wants a future, but her voice is constantly overpowered by desperation. What broke me emotionally was how her consent was manipulated. She said no, repeatedly, but her mother's pressure and the lure of money created emotional coercion. And once she enters the wealthy woman's house, the story shifts from family drama to something darker. What was presented as surrogacy slowly reveals itself as something far more sinister, a trafficking operation disguised as opportunity. The film handles this transition carefully, and it's disturbing in a realistic way. The older sister, the real hero. Now let's talk about the real MVP of this movie, the older sister. If there was any character that carried the moral backbone of Ashes of Greed, it was her. She saw the danger immediately. She questioned the offer. She confronted her mother. She stood alone when everyone else chose money over sense. And when Cynthia was taken, she didn't back down. She investigated, she fought, she exposed the truth. Her courage becomes the light in a story filled with darkness. And here's what I loved most. She was not rich, she was not powerful, she didn't have influence. She only had conviction. And sometimes conviction is enough. The villain, wealth without conscience. The wealthy woman in this film is terrifying. Not because she shouts or threatens constantly, but because she's calm, polished, educated, diplomatic. She speaks softly, offers wine, talks about comfort, calls herself an ambassador, but behind the luxury is exploitation. She runs a baby-making operation. Vulnerable girls are brought in under false promises. They are isolated, controlled, used. The scariest part? She doesn't see herself as evil. She justifies everything as helping families. That psychological layer adds depth to the story. Evil doesn't always look aggressive. Sometimes it looks elegant. The turning point. Greed devours itself. Here's where the film hits hardest. The mother collects the first 10 million check. She's overwhelmed, laughing, praising, celebrating. But that joy doesn't last. She is murdered, set up and eliminated once her usefulness is over. Let that sink in. The same money she thought would save her life became the reason she lost it. The title Ashes of Greed becomes painfully clear here. Greed doesn't just burn others, it burns you too. Themes that hit close to home. This movie is not just storytelling, it is social commentary. 1. Poverty and moral pressure. The film doesn't glamorize poverty. It shows how poverty can push people into dangerous decisions. But it also reminds us that desperation without discernment is deadly. 2. Human trafficking in disguise. Not all trafficking happens in dark rooms. Some happens in luxury homes behind contracts and polished smiles. 3. Family betrayal and loyalty. The mother sacrifices her daughter. The sister sacrifices her comfort to save her sister. 2 women, 2 choices, 2 outcomes. 4. Consequences. The villains are eventually arrested. Justice comes, but not before damage is done. Acting and emotional delivery. The acting and emotional delivery deserved applause. The mother's portrayal of desperation felt real, sometimes frustrating, sometimes heartbreaking. Cynthia's vulnerability was believable, but the older sister stole the spotlight. Her emotional range from anger to sorrow to determination carried the film's emotional weight. The villain delivered quiet menace effectively. Her calm tone made her cruelty even chilling. What could have been better? Some scenes felt slightly prolonged, especially repetitive arguments. The pacing in the middle could have been tighter. But emotionally, the impact lands. And sometimes, impact matters more. The ending. Hope from ashes. The criminals are arrested. The trafficking ring is exposed. Cynthia survives. The older sister gets a job offer, symbolic of legitimate success replacing corrupt wealth. The final message is clear. Contentment protects you. Greed destroys you. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think the mother was purely evil or just desperate? Would you forgive her if you were Cynthia? Did justice truly happen in the end? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Let's discuss respectfully. A personal note from me. For some time now, my reviews haven't been getting the engagement they used to, and honestly, it can be discouraging. But I do this because I love storytelling. I love conversations about movies that matter. If this review moved you, taught you something, or helped you understand the film better, please support me. Subscribe, comment your thoughts, share this review with friends. Your support keeps this channel alive. And if you enjoy deep, emotional, and honest movie reviews like this, I highly recommend you check out my channel, Flicks and Feels. That's where we break down movies not just for entertainment, but for meaning. Let's grow this community together. Final takeaway. Ashes of Greed reminds us that money can build houses, but it cannot build peace. And when greed burns out of control, all that remains are ashes. Thank you for watching and reading. This is ChinemeluTV, and this has been Flicks and Feels. See you in the next review.